Gibby, what do you got for us?
You could let's be clear about this.
You lost to $2,000.
And welcome back to the latest episode of Gus and Gawny. I think we're up to 55.
Did you forget the title then?
No, I didn't forget the title. I have got the responsibility today. Obviously, that things. If you're a common listener, you might think, "Gee, that's weird. What's going on here?" I was the first person in.
Yep.
Gawny's eating. I'm usually the one hoovering food down, and
I have no notes.
He's got no notes. I'm also leading. Leading off the top of the podcast. So it's a bit of a topsy-turvy start. But thanks for coming, mate. Eventually, on your time. That's all right. Lot to go through.
We got the t-shirts.
We do. Sold 499, which is a shame. I know I can hear people say, "Why didn't you sell 500? You made 500."
I think we were only selling 400.
No, it was 500.
Oh, okay, sorry.
We actually ended up giving one. We had Neil Danaher. I'm sure we'll talk about that some more.
Gave him
today.
a freebie, and that's the only freebie we did. We're not sure if it's if we should have charged him. Should we have charged him?
Feel if you step back from the elephant and stop isolating on this individual case, if you step back and look at the total volume of work he's done for MND, he's probably earned his freebie. I would have thought. But that was a very special moment as the 8th time he's come in and seen us in different states, obviously without COVID and stuff. He hasn't always got in.
Slightly bring up that you're now into your second shirt as well.
Yeah.
You lost your first.
No, it's not true. It's hanging up, but the first one was large. This is an extra large. So we can probably do a giveaway to someone else.
And a worn. We could almost get a bit more money for that. A worn one.
There's a bit to go through with this stuff.
You have a black doink in that?
Yeah, I reckon you probably could.
Yeah.
I reckon I probably did. In fact, certainly
did. That's a Coke Zero for those
wondering. Speaking of things that we are yet to give away, as long as we're rolling, walked into we're down the, I don't know which end. We're down the right end of Casey in terms of the building. Up the left end, we have a meeting room. And I walked in there the other day and said, "Take one, free of charge."
Oh, yeah. Have you seen this?
No.
Big box. And I was like, "Oh, awesome. Who doesn't love a freebie?" I walk in and there is what can only be described as at least a full, mid to large size box full of Gus and Gawny keep cups that just haven't happened. Nothing's happened to them. And blokes
These weren't numbered though.
Not numbered. They're just...
It's not part of the elusive number crew. But
yeah, they're mutts, but they're still sitting there looking for a home, and boys are taking, having a bit of laugh at our expense. I took the box. I took all of them. I've hidden the box. So I think now we can start dispersing them because a lot of people love the shirts. People obviously love the keep cups.
Do you have a cup?
I do have a cup.
So look, I think what we should do, Max, is I've got the keep cups. We'll find a way to give them out. Maybe I was thinking one of those t-shirt cannons they fire into the crowd.
Yep.
Maybe weaponise one of those and retrofit it for keep cups.
We've got to be careful here though because the AFL actually, that we get in trouble.
Oh yeah, I did know that.
And for those that are asking for the football's post-wins second level and third level and fourth level, we're not allowed to. It's a health and safety hazard. We're only really allowed to give it to the first 2 rows. So that could mean you got 2 options. One, you just wave to us up in the second, third and fourth row and we say cheers and thanks for coming, or you stampede to the front row. Jimmy, how are you?
How you going, mate?
Late night for Steph tonight.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, what are you doing tonight, Steph?
He's going out, but he's going to spend a while editing this podcast. 4 o'clock recording time for those at home on a Friday afternoon. So
we had at the MND lunch today. Neil and Beck came in and presented to the club, and that is normally podcast time, but we felt like we could make
an exception. Yep.
To listen to Neil and Beck.
Fair enough too.
We tried to get Beck on, but she's one hard guest to get.
Well, there's a lot of demand for Beck.
Yep.
The supply is limited to just one.
So we thought we'd get a slider.
Wow. Oh, well, I mean, everyone knows exactly who we got. And I'll be honest with you, when
was he was $1 to be the first third time guest. Because Chunk's not coming back on.
This is the break glass in case of emergency guest where everything goes wrong and we just need something. Yep. And last time that happened, we just did it ourselves. We sort of freeballed it. And now we've decided to lock Hamish in. So Ham will be coming on. I think he's on at 4:30.
Yep.
So that'd be time doesn't really matter for people listening, I guess.
No, I was wondering why you went down the time path, but he's on in about 10 minutes.
So people might think that means we're struggling a bit. I would push back on that.
No, he's a slider.
Well, he's a slider, and also if you just look around, Max, we've got our new we got a bit of a soft cap infusion into the podcast. As you can see, we've got Melbourne microphone covers now, and we've also got a new wallpaper, which was expensive.
I haven't noticed that.
$25,000 wallpaper.
So the giant check doesn't actually go to the bank?
Correct.
So we get to keep it.
We get to keep the giant check. So does this work? This giant check work?
Nah, it's been
that's
cash.
sad. So what happens to all like the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire giant checks from back in the day? They're not a thing.
I'd say they get binned.
Oh, that's devastating. Well, not ours, mate. It's going to a good cause. We needed a wallpaper, obviously, so we've ticked that off.
How was your debut?
AFL 9s?
Yeah.
Well, I got started on the bench.
Understood.
That's weird.
That's surprising.
Tough. That's hard.
Based on my junior career, I was pretty comfortable there.
Yeah.
So started there, then there weren't any goals kicked, so the coach said, get out there. So I put through the first.
Yep.
Of course.
On cue. AFL 9s is a bit different because only the forwards can kick. There's only 9 people out there, but only the forwards can kick goals. Yep. So we went down by 2 points with 20 seconds left. I thought, what do we do? Do I try to be the hero or do I go in the midfield? Selfless, went in the midfield, got the clearance, hit up Brendo from IT, and he kicked the winner after the siren.
What was the reasoning behind the game?
I'm not sure, but it got very heated. It was Melbourne v Collingwood, staff, and it got heated towards the end.
Perfect. Some other stuff you've been up to, Gibby. You're at Vic Roads Wednesday at 12:51 p.m.
I didn't know about that one.
Well, you were there, so
I knew that I was there. I didn't know that someone saw me there.
We got eyes everywhere.
That's all right. We got eyes everywhere.
My driver's license. So I had paid my driver's license renewal in December, and I didn't realise till just this week.
You've been driving unlicensed.
I hadn't received a new card, so essentially yes. Okay. But I was there. Didn't realise I got snapped.
We might as well give an in-house fine.
Well, hopefully there's no enforcers of the law listening, because I think we can retrospectively get fined these days, Gibby, so you might be in a bit of trouble. You've also had dinner with three other people.
Yep. Yeah, I had dinner with 3 other people. This was the worst Gibby in the flesh I've ever copped.
Yep. And this is where I sit there and go, maybe we should pull the segment.
But fearlessly.
But Gibby says he did enjoy it apart from one moment towards the end.
Yeah, so we're in the middle of eating dinner. Someone comes over, wants a photo. Okay, get up, have the photo. Sort of moved away from the table a little bit.
Which you love. You love that bit. You asked to sign something for him as well, and he said, don't need it.
Yeah, sure.
Clicked out. You got your own Sharpie there. What do you want me to sign, mate? Nothing, just a photo.
So get the photo, which is embarrassing in the middle of a restaurant where everyone's looking, thinking, who is this guy? Like, why is he a big deal? Get the photo, give him the phone back. And
That's great. That's awesome, by the way.
He says, can we get an action shot? I sit back down and he just frames it up nicely. He gets the 4 of us eating at the table. And then...
What's the other 3 people saying?
So you're still loving it at this point?
I am hating it. Okay. My girlfriend... I sent a message the next day to you guys and said, if you could refrain from actually posting that photo, it may help me retain my girlfriend. So that was a tough night.
So
then
she obviously wouldn't like us then at the moment.
Not a big fan, no.
Okay.
Understood.
And so the waitress comes over and goes what's the go? And I said, well, there's these 2 footballers that decided to be a good idea to try to create situations like this for me in the future. And it's happened.
Just want to reinforce to the people that
wasn't the situation we tried to create.
Certainly not.
We thought we'd bring more getting Gibby out in the... Because you're the next Bruce McAvaney.
Sure.
So if we can create more publicity...
Yeah, the better.
The better.
Quicker. It's
just backfired on us.
Pouring fuel.
It certainly wasn't what we wanted to do.
We'll go back to the drawing board. It's probably not a bad time to remind the people that, Wild Sun, tick, Gibby in the flesh, tick. There's no benefits to picking us off in the wild. Gawny and I are endangered species. We... are protected.
And if you do come up, we will say no.
Unfortunately, if you say, we are listening to the Gus and Gawny podcast, could we please have a photo? That's a surefire way to not get a photo taken. So unfortunately, that won't work. That's just a quick little reminder. So Gibby, that's all I really had for you.
That actually leads me to my votes from the game on the weekend. It feels like a long time ago.
Yeah,
we have to do our Gus and Gawny votes.
A lot has happened.
But
we said we're going to go completely positive. Which is a good... we got to Friday and we can finally think of positive, but that's good.
And so on the theme of the photos, I'm actually giving you a vote, Max. You played well, so well done, but put yourself in there. I reckon pre-game you got a photo of just about every MCC member as we were out there for the VFL match, and I thought that was just a strong Gus and Gawny quality.
Thank you.
I am going to vote for Harry Petty, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. I said to Salo earlier, it was his first game back.
Yep. And
I said Salo, because Salo's a smart footballer and does this naturally, but I was just trying to reinforce to him, get active in the 45s. I'll try and find you early, get your touch back, feel good about yourself. So I've hit Salo up pretty early on. Yep. Tick. He's then gone for a full ground switch and has just lobbed it up in the air, and Pets was sitting under it, and just got absolutely obliterated, and his shoulders nearly fallen off, split in half, was sort of lying there. And it reminded me, if I'm sort of trying to bring it back to our... our values, our Gus and Gawny values, I, in that moment, thought, geez, he looks a bit like a termite, and I can't remember who it was. Logan McDonald is the green zone. So I like the green zone termites.
You always bring it back to green zone in particular. Are they a favourite of yours?
Well, yeah, it's a good hat. It's a good hat. So green zone. There you go. So I'm voting for Harry Petty. Is that his second vote?
No, first. I haven't kept a great list.
Understood.
But I think Tata is winning on 2 at the moment.
Oh, there you go. Go on, you Frida.
And they're both from me 2 weeks in a row. But I'm gonna vote a little bit more of a quieter person.
Sure.
A bit of a quiet achiever.
Petty.
Bit of a quiet achiever.
Understood.
And to be fair, when he was on the podcast, he was quite quiet as well. It wasn't the greatest rating podcast. We had the 2 boys in. They live together. They're talented. Both have played a lot of games in a row, including this one in particular has played since round 1 last year. James Jordan gets my vote.
What do you do?
Out of the Wingers, what do you call it?
Wingers Club.
Wingers Club.
That's raw.
Yeah, is that okay?
We'll just keep.
Are you able to talk about it?
We'll cut that out. Just breeze past it.
Out of the Wingers Club, he just continually gets his job done. I reckon the last 2 weeks in particular, he's been starting to stand out.
Bit like Green Zone.
A little bit, yeah. Well, I was thinking more fasteners. What's bigger fasteners?
BFI, bigger fasteners, industrial fittings. A great business. So use Gus and Gawny BFI for 10% off your 10,000th nut or something. So
yep.
Speaking of social media stuff, shout-outs and stuff that we can do, I saw, and I'll just preface my feelings to this. There's a little bit of scar tissue. We obviously went with the shade stuff real early on, and it's destroyed my perception of them because they just stole it horrendously. AFL have done the same thing now. Yep. There was an Instagram post, I'm sure you would have seen it across the socials. Yep. Guess who's had the most games in a row without a bounce? Max Gawn. Stolen again. That's content. That's our IP.
That was announced on this podcast.
That's a Gus and Gawny piece of IP.
Heath Shaw went with that.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean, good on you, Heater, because
he said it's come across his desk. Has he listened? Has he tuned in?
So I mean, we don't have any recourse. We're a minnow compared to the marlin of the AFL. They can steal essentially whatever they want off us. But I just want to let the people know that that's upsetting me.
No, I love that record. And I'm going to try and keep it for as long as I can. I spoke to Benny Brown about it, and he's appalled that he decided to bounce one day, running into an open square.
Oh,
he decided to bounce. I text Tom Hickey straight after the.
What do you guys call yourself? The Ruckers Club?
Just friends.
Sure.
Yeah, just friends.
Friend of the podcast? No,
he's not a friend of the podcast. We can get him in. We wore his hats early on.
I remember.
Yeah, and we got in trouble because
we love a good
nothing
hat.
to do with any sponsor.
What are they called?
We should get him on board as a sponsor.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll give that one a sparks. Yeah, they're definitely animal themed. Yeah. What did you say to him?
Well, he's second on the list. I said congratulations. I'm sure you've been working on it.
Yeah.
Fighting down your art to make sure you can get this stat, and he is. He said he knew about it as well.
Oh, there you go. Good on you, Hickey, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are.
But I won't be bouncing. We need to talk disco, which leads me. So there's 2 things I want to talk here. Obviously, Hames coming up, so we'll try and accelerate it as much as we can. But
it feels like we're about to walk straight into the midst of a break this one down over 10 minutes type of conversation. Though.
Yeah, we'll see.
Understood.
We got a debutant.
Yeah, it's Disco Turner,
which is exciting. I know Gibby said earlier on that he probably didn't see Disco playing all year.
Yep, I remember that.
But I'm sure that came out of your mouth.
That never came out of my mouth.
But he's playing.
Yes.
Queen's birthday.
Favourite of everyone's seen the reaction on Instagram. Yeah. The boys loved it, and he is now playing in front of hopefully 80,000 people.
He's someone that's been referred to a lot on this podcast as well, so a good future guest.
He's a kid from what suburb?
Albury.
Can you give us how you said it in the initial interview?
Albury.
So he's a kid from
Haven't
Albury.
heard of that place. Yeah.
I've never been there. Never planned to.
So congratulations. We'll talk disco when we get him on. But it led me. A lot of people have asked why is his nickname Disco, and they're surprised his nickname Disco. We don't need to go into why his nickname Disco, but his nickname is Disco.
He gets Maxi a bit as well, which is
Maxi's
a funny
a
story.
great one. We'll get him once again when we get Disco on.
We have
him
to.
On. But I just wanted to run through the nicknames of the boys.
Yeah, sure.
Just so everyone out there knows who we're talking about when we're talking about them.
Sure.
I'll try and stick to the most appropriate nicknames as possible.
I think that's probably necessary if we want to keep this segment on the actual podcast. We're going to have to keep it pretty clean.
Let's roll through them, especially the ones that don't really have one.
Maisie.
So Maisie is Maisie. Christian Salem actually has a few, but Giroux.
He gets Gyps as well.
Yep. And
don't know why.
Giroux is because of the Arsenal striker.
Yeah, Olivier Giroud.
And he's a big Arsenal man, so there is two. Harmsy gets the nut, self-proclaimed.
The nutter?
He loves nut.
Yeah, I don't know why. You can't crack the nut.
He can't crack the nut. He actually cannot think of another nickname for Harmsy.
Yeah,
Harmsy, but that's boring.
Track
is track, unfortunately. Wanted to run with CP5 because of CP3, is it?
Tried desperately to get that one off the ground.
But no one else wanted it. Jacko, we pushed hard for Egg early. So apparently his nickname was Egg. Riv wanted Egg.
Riv sometimes still calls him Egg.
And then all of a sudden he goes, I don't want Egg. I want Dogger. Bang.
So he's now Dogger?
He's Dogger. Vines is unfortunately Vines.
Rick. Oh, Jake Lever's Rick.
Yeah, which is one of the better
nicknames. Don't know
why. Spargs is Paul? I don't get that. Paul?
Paural. I don't know. That's his old man's name. And I don't... Look, if next time Sparks comes on, he calls it... His name on Facebook is Paul something. Anyway.
You're Gus.
Yep.
I'm Gawny. Did get Dougie as a young age.
You did get Dougie.
Toby Bedford, unfortunately, is the most boring of them all. Tobes.
Larry is close behind.
For those that think of a nickname for Toby, please.
Yeah, that's a good idea. If you have a nickname for anyone, idea, thought, brainwave, light bulb moment, send it through.
Clayton's is Clary.
Yep.
Hibbo's is Pig. And
that's about probably where that one wraps up.
Langers...
Tun Ling, take your pick.
Bailey Laurie, one of our more creative ones. We really sat long, hard to think about this. Bill.
Yeah, I mean, some of our best work.
I actually don't know his name's Bailey anymore.
Honestly, that's the
best of the nicknames.
Yeah, like when Disco, you forget their real names.
Has anyone called Disco Daniel for a while?
No. Wouldn't have thought. Daniel.
Bowser.
Yeah, Jake Bowser.
Melky. Unfortunately, does get Snake.
Yeah, but not as much. Yeah, not as much as I'd like. It's Melky for mine.
Phrase gets Torpit.
Torpit?
Yeah.
That's a good one. I actually haven't heard that. Yeah. I just heard Phrase.
Kick it long Phrase.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you go.
He can kick a long ball.
Yeah, he can, to his credit.
Tomo.
Yep.
Jacob Van Ruin. This is good. No, stick to the one that's PG. He looks a lot like Drew Petrie.
Yeah, the Petrie dish.
He gets Drew.
I like that.
Which is great.
That is a good one.
How's this segment going?
It's all right. I think fans will like it.
All right, that's good.
Okay.
Well, because we're halfway.
Blake Howes gets Howes.
Yeah, sorry. And once again, if there's more creative people out there that can come up with something. JJ for James Jordan. Trent Rivers, Riv. Yeah, Riv. We were running with Jared early, but then Riv didn't know who Jared was. Which wasn't helping us.
No.
And then it comes to the guy who's got 56 of them, Tom McDonald. He's probably most as Bone.
Yeah,
Bone or Bow.
Bow, Bone.
Links.
They're
his big three. And then T-Mac.
Yeah, look. The gift that keeps on giving.
He's great.
And there's been so many differences over the journey.
Hope he's going well.
Yeah,
he started tweeting again.
T-Mac has?
Yeah, just randomly puts out a few. Watched Brisbane Freo the other day.
There you go. Good on you, Bone.
Yeah, we should
Weedo's got my favourite nickname at the club.
Keep his Twitter relatively low key. He does go a little bit right sometimes.
Weedo, and for the love of whichever god is out there, let this stay on. Sam Wiedemann's nickname is the Big Sexual.
The Big Sexual. The Big.
He's just so big and good looking. And if that gets cut, then I don't want a podcast anymore.
Luke Dunstan came in and said his nickname is Spook. We said, stuff that, your nickname's Slammer.
So told a great Slammer and Dunno.
Told a great story about one of his friends being in the Slammer, and for some reason Nibbler just goes, all right, Slammer, and everyone started calling him Slammer. So
and Dunno as well.
And Dunno. And Lukey.
Yeah, and Luke. 20... Majak.
Big Madge.
Madge. Easy.
Although Harmsy calls me... Harmsy has Majak Door saved in his phone. M-A-J-A-K, Majak. D-O-O-R.
Far out.
That's great.
Hunty, Pockets.
Yeah, Pockets.
Big Wheels.
Nibbler gets Johnny.
And, Alex Neil Bullen gets Nibbler.
Yeah,
that's a nickname.
Nibbler and Johnny.
And Johnny.
Fritter, Tata,
Fritzy, Bindies, Bales. There's a bit that goes on there.
Let's just quickly run through the rest because we're going to hurry up.
Spaz.
We should change that one day as
Bot.
well.
He gets called Bot.
He does get called Bot.
Because he's a bit of a bot.
Oscar Baker sauce. There's a sauce at every football club, and at the moment, Oscar Baker is the current sauce.
Yep.
We feel like Petty and Bowie have a chance to be sauce in the
Certainly
future.
have a claim on it. Bow's up-and-coming sauce.
Especially when we get to Petty. He doesn't have a nickname.
Yeah, Pets.
We missed Deacon Smith in there. I would love to get him with Smithy because he's not a Smithy. He's not a Smithy, is he?
He's the anti-Smithy.
So I wouldn't mind Smithy coming
Smithy. In. Yeah, I can see that coming.
We're getting to some of my favourites coming up, but Cozzy, obviously.
Yep. Coles.
Chandler gets chin.
Just look at him.
And also gets bib chin.
Yeah.
Because he did some extraordinary things in his first 3 years when he wore a bib at training.
He just fires up in a bib.
Now he's no longer in a bib, and it's a bit weird. But Mitch Brown. This is my favourite.
The duck. Not every club has a duck. It's reserved for an elite.
But he gets duck based off Wayne Carey's playing ability.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm not comparing Mitch Brown to Wayne Carey. Well, I sort of am, but
that's exactly what you're doing, and I'll stand by it.
He had a training session where he took 10 marks on the lead, just pure. And someone said you play like duck, and it just stuck.
And then the duck stuck.
Taj gets Taj. We've got to come up with something better than that. Judd McVie is one of your favourites.
Yeah, Judd gets knuckle. I'll post the comparison photo so everyone can see that. But knuckle.
Daniel Turner, Disco. Joel Smith.
Maxi.
And Maxi. Joel Smith gets Smut, one of the best nicknames of the club.
Yeah, Smutter.
Andy Monez Wakefield, unfortunately, is just Andy at the moment. We're better than that.
Yeah, Monzi. Weedo's trying to get Monzi off the ground. I don't know how that's going to go.
And Ben Brown is purely your nickname of Brenny Brutleg.
Welcome to the club, Brenny Brown. So it's good to have you.
He does get Brenny Bootleg, so we put an R in the bootleg as well. He doesn't like bootleg as much.
I can't imagine him listening to too many.
All right.
Anyway.
How'd that go?
Awesome. I think everyone...
What's our thoughts on it?
Yeah, most of it should stay in.
Most of it should stay in? And people will be entertained by it?
I think so.
Send in any nickname suggestions. We'll filter through the good ones and see how we go next week. That's actually... I like that from you.
All right.
That was good.
We'll go to Haim. We'll talk all things Haim and a little bit of MND.
Sure.
Now, Gus, we all know the team at Zurich Insurance are proud sponsors of the Gus and Gawny podcast.
Yes, absolutely. Huge supporters of the pod. I think they were our first sponsor and certainly our first platinum partner, which is a huge result.
Yes, and they've also been on board as a co-principal partner of the club since 2018 and have been protecting Australia for over 100 years.
That's right. They provide insurance for individuals and families, plus businesses large and small.
Now, Gussie, we know you're a big fan of protection, rocking your helmet at every chance you get, so this is very on brand for you.
You're absolutely right. To see how Zurich can support you, head to zurich.com.au or contact your financial advisor or broker. And welcome back. A little bit controversial here, Maxie. I've got some feedback.
This is unlike you.
I know. I hate controversy. It hurts me to do it, but there's some stuff we got to go over. Danielle, my better half, has informed me that the break that we've just come back from for the last 55 episodes is a Zurich ad of you and I talking about Zurich and how great they are.
Oh, and then we go off the top with Zurich.
And we double dip every single time coming off welcome back. And no, how good Zurich. And also, of course, they're great, but they get 2 ads straight back to back.
In saying that, if you are in need of insurance.
Obviously. But I'm just wondering, do we just go straight into the list of extensive sponsors or do we keep double dipping on the Zurich front?
I think Zurich deserve maybe a double dip, but we'll talk about it.
We'll go behind the scenes. It's probably all going to get cut because...
Thanks to Sporting Globe as well.
Of course, Sporting Globe. Hamish, I was going to ask you, Hamish Blake, obviously our guest, everyone can see. Welcome.
Jeez, that's a soft intro.
Welcome, Ham. 3rd-time guest, first time, 3-time, first time.
Yeah, no, that makes people feel like they missed it.
Now, on the topic of sponsors, your potential sponsors, your speaking of better halves as well, what's the name of your wife's... She got a skincare, something.
Go to. Go to. Feel free to throw go to in there.
So Gus and Gawny at checkout.
And we'll find out what Zurich's paying and she'll double it.
Wow.
Oh, okay. This is good. This is good. Well, that means at the moment that's 25 grand.
I'm just going to yell upstairs and just see if I've done a terrible thing.
No, it's all right. It's too late, obviously.
I've blown the marketing budget.
No, but thanks for coming back, mate. We were saying off air, you are now officially our first 3rd-timer and our break glass in case of emergency guest. We're sort of floundering a bit in the deep water and you've thrown us a life ring. So thank you very much for coming on.
I'm hugely honoured to be 3rd-time guest. Obviously, Nate, I know it was neck and neck between me and Jonesy and I've just snuck forward. And so...
Yeah, he's flat. And no doubt.
That's the game. That's the guest game. So if he's listening, do what you do.
He's too busy on 7, does a bit of SEN stuff. He's hard to catch, Jonesy. But surprisingly, you're quite easy to catch.
I really am. When I got asked yesterday, hey, would you be around to talk to the guys? I went the old joke right back. I said, hey, look, I am a very, very busy guy. I'm just cruising around on a Friday afternoon on the off chance that I'm just going to drop what I'm doing for anybody. Luckily, Gus and Gawny qualifies the only thing I would drop everything for.
Wow.
I'm in the middle of running a play date at our house, a brother-sister combo play date. Like, one of my, like it's a matching group, like the brother and sister are friends with our two kids. And, we've got an intense Mario Kart tournament going on there and something happening in the bathroom where I can hear squeals from the kids. And I'm going to say I've got solid 8 minutes. I got solid 10. I got solid 10.
Then we'll get straight to the important stuff, won't we?
Yeah, we will. We're 2-time guests on your podcast. Well, technically one each. So I went on to talk a little bit of footy, Auskick type stuff about Sonny. And a lot about him taking the goalposts out and using them as like Star Wars stuff, which I'm hoping has changed. But the second appearance is what I want to talk about.
Well, it's topical now. Star Wars has just released a new show, so if anything, he's probably more into the gold stick lightsabers.
But
I came on. And
you actually got on as like a participator.
And was consummately humiliated. Everyone who's listened would know the story. I said I could pour into wine glasses. I didn't anticipate the variety, and that was ultimately what stuffed me up. So I was happy to have come on, though. It was good fun.
Was he a letdown, Hame?
No, look, and that's a fair. There is a lot of nerve when you come on and you put yourself forward as a special skill. On the Hamish and Gawny podcast, like, no one wants to be the Simpsons guy. Yeah. Quite famously, we had a guy that came on and he said, I think about 2 or 3 years ago, and he's like, I can, you give me, it was something like, you give me any line from The Simpsons, I'll tell you the next line. So Ned Flanders says this, and I'll tell you who says the next line. So we're like, gee, that's huge, 30 seasons of The Simpsons or whatever. He couldn't do any. He was really floundering, and then it got to the stage where we went, okay, just for your own, because he couldn't say anything. So it was like, just for your own honour, just say one line from The Simpsons. And then he was like, oh, geez, what's a line? What's a line from The Simpsons? And we were like, all right, even just a word that any of the characters say, that like just to get something on board. And he couldn't do that. So just whilst you were like millimeters out, which was,
my second two glasses were good. The first one was shocking.
Absolutely splitting hairs, but yeah.
Yeah, but he can no longer say he has that skill.
I still marvel at the symmetry. When there is something magical about just seeing 2 glasses of Pinot perfectly mirroring each other, and I've missed seeing those.
Well, I can't do it anymore. It's not. I can't claim it. So
all right,
you missed that.
The real reason you're on, even though you are just a great mate of ours and we love talking, is you're doing something quite notable this week. Quite noble as well. You're sliding down the MND Freeze slide into an ice cold bath or cold pool. This is the 8th year, so I think you're in and around the 100th person to go down.
81, I was.
And Angus is a slider. Yeah, he was part of the 2020 Do It at Home crew.
Yep.
So how did that come across? Have you turned it down for 7 years and decided to do it the 8th year, or?
Do you know? I've actually never been asked. I've always supported Big Freeze. I've loved the Big Freeze. There's always beanie shout-outs, I feel, every year.
Yeah.
But I've actually never been asked for this later. I reckon it might be, and again, at risk of biting a good friend of the Big Freeze here, biting Channel 7's hand. I think it might be Channel 7 thing, maybe, because this year, I don't know if we're revealing the outfits, and I'll keep that up. I'm happy to keep that under my hat, but this year, because there's a theme, it's like movie moments. I actually wanted to go as you, Maxie. My first idea was like, because I'm growing a beard, I was like, I'll go as Gawny and just get a bald cap kind of thing, like get a skull cap, and I thought it'd be funny to go as you, but I couldn't because it's movie moments. Only there's like, you have to come as like a famous movie character, and I nominated. I said, okay, what about like Lego Movie? Like, I'll come as the guy from Lego Movie because you can get like the Lego outfit. And I was like, there's some synergy there.
What about Johnny English? What about Johnny English if you want to be like Gawny?
Yeah. I suppose if we wanted to turn people off, I think the idea is to get people watching it. I think the idea is to impress people.
I'm not sure if you've come across.
I would have loved to just go in a suit. And who might you be, mate? Can't you tell? The only movie character to wear a suit, Johnny English.
I'm not sure if you've come across some of my film work in the latest commercials I've done, Haim, but I'm sure you could sneak in there.
I would have loved to go down as Gawny just yelling out, "Hey Alexa!" But sadly, no dice.
So you're obviously sliding.
I did argue for a sec. I was like,
understood.
I did argue for a sec. I was like, hang on a sec. What about surely, like, for a lot of D's fans, their favourite movie is now the 2021 Grand Final.
Sure.
And like, I am coming as a good movie character. His name's quite an actor, plays himself in our favourite movie.
Yeah. You should go as the prelim.
So yeah, Justin didn't want me as a Lego man, but I'll be going as something else.
As something. So you're obviously supporting by sliding. Did you buy a friend of the podcast tee by any chance, or they were too hot off the plate? You couldn't get a hold of one.
Are they still available? I heard they were sold out.
Yeah, they sold out very over a week or something.
Angus has got a spare one because he lost one, but he's found it again.
Yeah, you look about my size.
If I could get one, this would be huge.
Yeah. Well, I've got one.
Well, this is a match worn. Yeah. This is a match worn one, so it's obviously a bit more prestigious.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is with the sliding. Do you get to come out in like a warm up tracksuit and strip it off? But
wow.
I can wear a friend of the podcast tee on as that, and I don't know, take it off to reveal.
Well, that's massive. That's massive.
We can work that out. When are you getting down? When are you into town?
I'm going down this weekend. I'm going down from Sydney. We'll fly down tomorrow, and then on Monday, on game day, there's the Sliders Hub. I don't know if it's near the Players Hub, but there is we have a change room, which I just hope is obviously full of heaters and space blankets. Yeah. It's not going to be super warm.
Yeah. So they've called it a hub, not a change room. I love that.
That's a worry, isn't it? Hub stinks of, it's just in the run, like it's in the race going down to the championship. It's like,
yeah.
This is the hub. Come enjoy the hub.
Little bit about MND. Have you come across Neil / met Neil in the last little bit? Obviously, I dare say you would have.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, anyone lucky enough. I've been at a few of the games where Neil's spoken beforehand, and I know he addresses you guys before every match, and that's always a super powerful moment. And you know, his words and his message is incredible. And yeah, so there's been a couple of occasions where he on the day, he's obviously so busy with everything they put together, but there have been some occasions where, as a surprise, he's sort of made it up to the pre-match function, where sometimes I've been lucky enough to be and he's spoken, and it's always unbelievable. No try. I firmly know, like, it's one of those that just footy, it cuts moment to have it there and to realise what he's battled against, what everyone that has MND has battled against. So it's a comparatively very easy thing to do, to slide into a bucket of ice.
Yeah, I mean, he spoke to us today, and for the 8th time, you know, it's just every time he comes in, we're so lucky to have him involved in our club. So awesome cause to be behind.
Lastly, before we let you go home to the tea party, you got the Premiership Cup this weekend, I hear. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I do. It's a surprise. I've got my name slotted in on Sunday.
Yeah.
Going to pick it up. We're going around to a mate of ours. They live over in Williamstown. I probably shouldn't address that too much just for security reasons. But
sure.
They live in Williamstown, and
that's almost too much.
Chicken and chips at their place, and so they were like, "Look, you know, should we go out for a restaurant?" They're really good. Max I was catching. I was like, no, let's just get the kids together. We'll do chicken and chips at your house. So I'm going to surprise them with a cup.
Wow.
And I guess we'll have an impromptu Premiership Cup and chicken and chips photo shoot.
Well, good on you, mate. Enjoy that. Thanks so much for coming on again and giving us your time. Enjoy the party. Did you have a sticker on your hand or a butterfly tattoo or something? Is that
pretty tough to get his text up.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy the party, mate. We'll see you this weekend. I'll get this shirt.
Got a good rate up for nothing.
I'll get a hold of this shirt for you.
Sorry, I think there has been a bit of a delay on this. I hope it's been palatable for all the listeners. Keep doing what you do and can't wait for my full appearance. I'll see you guys on Monday. Can't wait.
See you, Haim.
Hooroo.
That was Haim. Apologies for the technical difficulties that were going on through there. We stuck strong and tried to get through as many questions as we can. He did talk about the importance of MND, and we just wanted to match that as well. It is an incredible game to play in.
Isn't it?
And obviously Neil is the face of MND, but anyone that is that knows someone who's currently going for MND or has previously gone for MND, we are thinking of you, and with such a privilege to be able to play a game that recognises the disease and wants to beat it.
100%.
So it's really important that we raise some money, which Zurich were really happy for us to do. Those that watched the press conference that we spoke about at the top of the show were able to get $25,000 thanks to Zurich Insurance.
Yep. And all the listeners and everyone who bought a shirt, thank you again for buying. It's real special to be able to donate. They actually don't get the big check, as we've touched on, which is a little bit disappointing personally, but the money will help, obviously.
This is my 8th freeze MND. I've been at the club for, obviously, I missed one in 2017, but I played in the other ones. And it's to see what this disease does to someone, to see Neil come in year one to what Neil's coming through now.
Yeah.
And it's the definition of selfless. He's literally trying to fight a disease that he knows he's not going to win. So try and get everyone there. Wear the blue beanies. Obviously, the 500 people wear Gus and Gawny T-shirts. Gus will wear both of his.
No, I'm going to give one to Hame, apparently, and he'll wear it. You'll see it out there. I'm loud and proud.
And we'll see you next week, hopefully with a first-time guest.
Well, yeah, I mean, hopefully. Well done, Maxi. Uru.